If you are on the receiving end of this card's resolution, I feel so bad for you. So Pointer of the Red Lotus is a relatively simple normal trap card that reads, pay 2,000 life points and reveal your entire hand, so that's the cost. Look at your opponent's hand and banish one card from their hand until your opponent's next end phase. It's really important to note that if you use this on your opponent's turn, it's only going to be banished until the end phase of that very turn. And just to clarify things out, you cannot use this card if you have 0 cards in your hand, because it does force you to reveal your entire hand, assuming that you have at least 1 card. If you're playing a control deck, this card doesn't look really good because you're not making your opponent lose 1 card permanently, and on top of that, you're giving your opponent hand knowledge by revealing your whole hand, and you're paying 2,000 life points. So when you do resolve a Pointer of the Red Lotus, you really have to seal the deal at the speed of light, or else you lose all your momentum swing. Historically, we've seen this card being really good in Zodiac back in 2017, as well as Adamantipator with Block Dragon, with Spirals, and Lunalite. So in other words, combo decks are the best decks at utilizing a Pointer of the Red Lotus. You could just shotgun the card on draw phase or standby in order to prevent your opponent from resolving blowouts like Dark Ruler, Kaiju, Sphere Mode, etc. Even if your opponent has a card like Forbidden Droplet and chains it to your Pointer of the Red Lotus, you could still look at the rest of the hand and make your opponent lose the engine card that would have been the most oppressive to you, to make sure that even though you did get Forbidden Droplet, you would still be able to win. The hand knowledge portion of the effect is actually really important as well, because it allows you to use your interruptions much better instead of just relying on your instinct every time. I've actually seen people claim that this card is better than the banned trap card Trap Dust Shoot, which allows you to kind of do a relatively similar job, but only when your opponent has 4 or more cards in hand, and also it only removes a monster card, whereas a Pointer can even remove spells or traps, so Evenly Matched, Dark Ruler, Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, etc. And on top of that, it doesn't really care the amount of cards your opponent has in the hand, so even if you got hand trapped multiple times, your opponent top decks to 3 cards, you could still use a Pointer of the Red Lotus, and on top of that, it's now once per turn, so if you have multiple copies, it's even better. So in a world where hand traps aren't really ideal and board breaking cards are better, I would actually say a Pointer of the Red Lotus is definitely a card to be considered in the side deck. Of course though, drawing this card doesn't mean you win, because if your hand sucks, a Pointer of the Red Lotus also sucks. It makes you lose a lot, like 2,000 life points, your hand, well, I mean your hand privacy in a way, and on top of that, your opponent doesn't really lose anything permanently, so if you're still on top deck mode trying to unbreak, you're actually in deep trouble. So in conclusion, you could actually say that a Pointer of the Red Lotus doesn't really have a middle class. It's either totally unfair, broken, or complete garbage and a -1. I don't know if you remember, but in, I think, the Remote Duel Invitational or something, when ETPat, Team Sam, played against Cameron Neal, Cameron used the card, a Pointer of the Red Lotus, to look at ETPat's hand, but ETPat literally had an unfair, ridiculously hand, so even if Cameron removed a good card, ETPat would still be able to combo off and win from there. So the question is, should you play the card? Well, unless you are playing an extremely aggressive deck that doesn't really lose to hand traps too well in a format where hand traps aren't really played, I believe you shouldn't necessarily consider the card, but if you are playing a really powerful deck, definitely go for it. I think the card is definitely, like I said, at least worth considering in the side, not in the main deck. If you can actually put your hands on 3 copies of this card, it's going to be positive for the future. So that's pretty much all I had to say for this video. What do you guys think of the card? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.